Hi, everyone. So, for week 5 of my video journal, I looked into chapter 13, selective self presentation and privacy. And the core idea of this chapter was it examined how users manage their public image online, specifically focusing on selective self presentation, otherwise known as SSP. And SSP is just the strategic process of choosing what information to share and what to withhold to create a favorable or desired impression. The chapter highlights three processes: selective self presentation. We emphasize positive aspects and conceal negative ones. Self affirmation, sharing positive content can boost self esteem and help users cope with anxiety. And also, just social sharing. Sharing emotional content strengthens relationships, but the highly visible nature of social media can complicate this as well. This process inherently creates a tension between the public self and the private self. I think this chapter provides a necessary lens for me to assess my own concept of privacy um, as a play by play commentator. That's a key learning objective in the sense that as a commentator, my professional life is inherently public. I'm constantly engaging in SSP. I'm choosing what opinions to voice, what team success to emphasize, and how much personal life to reveal, whether that be my own or players or coaches' personal lives. This is a form of necessary ethical gatekeeping to maintain impartiality. The line between the public image and the private self is constantly challenged. The chapter highlights that the more I engage in SSP, the more difficult it is to maintain the integrity of my private life. If I use social media for personal affirmation, such as sharing political views or personal struggles, I risk compromising the impartiality expected of my professional brand. And while the First Amendment protects my right to express my personal views, the ethical principles tied to it, like independence from faction, they mandate that I ethically self censor my private identity to protect my professional duty. My personal free speech must yield to the public's right to an unbiased broadcast. So, for myself, I'm not on social media a ton. I actually don't ever post anything really political or even sports teams related. And I think in the field that I want to go into, more than a sports writer, I think I can get away with being on social media less. I know guys like Kevin Harlan, they always talk about how they don't do the social media thing. And I find that quite admirable because, you know, they don't always need to be on it, especially because for announcers, all you're going to see pretty much is either, praise from the comment section, or you're going to be getting a lot of critiques. And critiques from the comment section from like keyboard warriors is never going to be, you shouldn't be listening to that if you're a commentator. The only people's opinions who matter are yourselves and your superiors, the ones who are employing you to do the job of play by play commentary. I think the assignments as well with the Potter box paper, the practice assignment, and even this case study presentation taught me how to look into, you know, someone's SSP and how it's the act of consciously choosing you know, what is being made public and what's made private. It requires journalists to understand how SSP and platform visibility constantly erode their own privacy boundary. I think it's the most important tool for upholding our professional duties as sports journalists.